not saying
I'm
anything.
not saying anything. Okay, good.
This side. That's it.
It's okay.
Rudgy intro, take one.
Welcome back to Rudgy, aka the Doctor. And
Cut. Let's get makeup in here for Rudgy.
yeah, where's makeup? She's always at home. Yeah, she's a bit. Oh, hello. Got makeup
I'm
time.
here.
Yeah, well, I got a bone to pick with you. How come you're always working from home?
Well, it's just the way forward these days, you see.
How do I look, Tom? Is it?
Yeah, looking good, looking
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Maybe,
yeah.
a little bit more on there, maybe, I think.
She looks sort of familiar.
Yeah.
You don't do. Is it Robert the Weatherman? You.
Yeah, sorry.
Amazing.
And take two.
We'll do it all.
Sorry.
Welcome back to Rudgy,
Exactly.
aka the Doctor. If you've just joined us, what do I say next?
You stutter and blunder.
Cut.
Makeup. Oh, I thought makeup was on holiday. I thought she was working from home this week.
No,
Is the
no,
bush
no.
big enough? I'm sure Robert the Weatherman doesn't get this treatment. You see the size of her brush, matron. Take three. What are you doing, Vicky?
I'm looking about.
Matron. Take three. Welcome back to Rudgy, aka the Doctor. If you just joined us, hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe, sit back and enjoy the ride. And for those of you who hit the Coffee and PayPal page this week, thank you ever so much. Massive, massive help to me. Well, yeah, makeup is always working from home, as you know. But, well, I found out she was doing Robert's makeup. So, Vicky, come here a minute. This is the makeup team that I'm always talking about. And this is our legal expert, Tom the historian and legal representative. We've also got on the microphone the Hobbit and Fat Mouse from next door. Hello, Mouse.
Don't think you're getting off lightly.
Yeah. Look at the size of that. Should we get on with the video?
Yeah.
I think we better.
Let's go.
It's like Charlie's Angels.
Breakfast. Oh dear. Well, last night, let's go down to the garage and I'll tell you a little story and a tale of woe. We nearly set fire to the village again. Anyway, yeah, I just finished my morning coffee and my sausage sandwich. And then I better crack on. Dentist today. Let's get down the garage. Well, yeah. So Nicky's on the rack again.
Let me explain what happened. So I decided to go to the shop yesterday evening, to get an emergency Mars bar. I like something sweet after I've had something spicy to eat, and I was going to have a kebab last night. So I jumped on Nicky, and it was evident straight away something was wrong. It was running really rough, like it was on choke, and of course it's hot here, so it shouldn't need that. By the time I'd got to the crossroads out of the village, it wouldn't tick over, and then it wouldn't start. And then I smelt petrol. Let me show you what happened. Now, this is the petrol tank. Underneath the petrol tank, let me see if I can get the camera so you can see. Right, now this is the back of the tank, and the bottom, this sits against the frame. This pipe here, I had problems with when I brought the bike, leaking, and me and Makis replaced it. I'm going to do it again. This is the main feed out of the tank, and as you can see, it's at the lowest point, which makes no sense. Kawasaki, well, I need the heads looking up. This is the fuel pump, and then over here we have the sender unit. Sender unit tells you how much fuel you've got, and this is the feed out of the tank to the fuel injection system. Now what happened was this pipe here had deteriorated due to the fuels that we now have in the world. Some fuel lines won't put up with it, and although it was a proper fuel line, it had perished it right here, and petrol was pouring out. So I've had to replace that. It looks to me like I might end up replacing this one as well, so I'm going to try and get some this afternoon before I put that back in, because if there was a tap that you could turn this off at, wouldn't be a major problem. You could turn the tap off, find out what the problem is, fix it, put it back. But how do you stop that? And as I found out before, if that's leaking and you have to take the tank off to repair it, there's nothing you can do about it. You have to try and drain the tank through the filler cap, which isn't ideal. Doesn't do your paintwork a lot of good. So we go back to the bike. This is the pipe that was leaking. That's the fitting that pushes onto the tank, and these have got a lifespan, so I'm probably going to have to, at a later date, import some of these from the UK, so that if should these fail, at least I've got those again. Anyway, yeah, luckily I had some pipes a little bit on the big side, but it clamped up all right, so I'm hoping that's going to be okay. It's fuel injection pipe, so it should be more than adequate. It goes through the filter and down onto the injection rail, which I've also replaced that bit there. So hopefully now we can clip this back in, wire the fuel pump and the sender unit back up, because I've got a dentist appointment. The other problem was that it took all the paint off the engine, so I've had to spend this morning cleaning that up and painting it. As you can see, it hasn't done the carbon fibre look-alike much good. I'm going to clean that up later on. Bike needs a wash anyway. Me and the Hobbit went exploring a deserted beach the other day, as you saw in last week's video probably. The bike really needs a lot of work. It's done a lot of work for me now, and it's getting very, very tired. I'm going to try and save up the €500 that the guy was asking. He's got a spare engine. The gearboxes on these are quite complicated to get at, and it would mean the bike would be off the road a long time. So I'm going to try and get the engine off the guy up at my friend's garage, and swap the engines over, change the logbook so that the numbers match up, and then we'll rebuild this one at my leisure. It's a good engine, there's nothing wrong with the engine, it's just the gearbox. It's absolutely had it. Sounds like an old lorry. Other than that, she needs a new chain. I've got to change all the brakes all around, discs and pads, so come up winter it's going to have a lot of work done. And I've just noticed we've got a bit of a flat spot in the wheel rim. Never ending. Anyway, I'm now going to check the final pipe on that, and then get the tank back on, fire it up, and do some checks while it's on the ramp. Then I can go to the dentist, and that's your update on the workshop. Oh, luckily, I always carry some tools under here. As you can see, we threw that back on just to get home. Right, so there we go. I've changed that bit of pipe because, I don't know whether you can see that. It's in pretty poor shape. And I don't like these clips either. I don't really trust those. However, I will be getting some more pipe because, like I say, 9.5, well, it's a little bit on the loose side. It pushes on and it tightens up, as you can see. I think I prefer it a bit snugger than that, so we'll be changing that. Bottom of the tank looks in a dreadful state as well. This bike's been down the road a few times. But then, you know, 23 years old now, isn't she? Something like that. I suppose you can't grumble. So now, while we've got the tank off, and I'm happy with that, Robert, wherever I've put it, Robert gave me this little contraption here, which will sit neatly in the bars there. I've got to run the cabling down to the battery. It's got a fusible link in it already. And then in there, if we pull this up, difficult one-handed, as you can see, USB port. It's for charging your phone up. I think there's a different port in there. Yep, there you go. Comes with its leads. So yeah, thank you, Robert. Another present from Robert. He brings me loads of stuff. He's a good lad. So yeah, we're going to wire that onto the bike. I don't normally like putting things on bikes. I'm a custom bike builder. I build things like that. But this is my work bike, isn't it? So, you know, the other day me and the Hobbit were miles from anywhere, and if your battery goes on your phone, game over. So yeah, I'll put the quad lock on. That's been pretty useful. I can film myself, I can have the sat nav on if I need it. You could also listen to music, I suppose, if you wanted to. I don't do that, but yeah, so I've got the quad lock on there. I've got the charging port on there, so now I can have the battery on charge on the cameras, on the phone, all that sort of stuff. I've also got a power pack in the boot, under the rear seat, which will start the car. So it's good enough to start this. I charge it up regularly, so I'm never without power one way or another. I do try and cover all the bases. Last night caught me out. I didn't have any pipe. Luckily I wasn't far from home. Makis did pull up and ask if I needed some help. We could have chucked it in his pickup if we needed to. But luckily I got it home. It used about a gallon of fuel in less than a mile. But never mind. Right, I'm going to crack on with that. Right, so fitted Robert's charging clamp. The only thing that annoys my OCD is that this is at an angle and that's straight because of the bars. Would have been better if I could have got it there and it would have been level with the controls, but then you can't get it there because the master cylinder's in the way. So I'm just going to have to put up with that. It looks a bit messy, but like I say, this is my work bike, and when the phone's on there, it comes to about there anyway. So it actually looks quite neat with the phone on. Not that I'm into this electronic stuff, I'm an analog sort of guy, but this isn't that sort of bike. So you put the phone on and it doesn't look too bad. So yeah, I've wired that up. I've hidden the wire in with the loom that runs along here and connected the tabs they give you onto there. Fusible links here, so I can get to it nice and easily. I'm going to cable tie that to the chassis so that I know where it is at all times and I can grab it if I need to. There we go, ready to put it back together now. Let's hope it works this time, because I can't afford a bike that does a mile to a gallon. That's ridiculous, and now all my clothes stink of petrol, which I don't mind, but of course I've got the dentist later on and I only got the one pair of jeans at the minute, so I'm going to have to explain to him I don't ride a Triumph or a Harley or anything like that. Unfortunately, metric bikes suffer from the same problems when they get old. But anyway, done very well, I have to say. I don't have an awful lot of trouble with her, considering she gets abused. Right, so the tank's back on. Had a few problems with it's got a fuel filter. I think I've worked this out now. It should just have the push-on clips on each end, one on the tank, one on the fuel rail, and a braided hose in between, which is secure. The reason we're having problems is that somebody has chopped those off and put a fuel filter in the middle of it, probably because they're having issues with the tank. and now the fuel filter doesn't fit under the tank without chafing pipes and all sorts of things. Anyway, I've got to go to the dentist. I've got about half an hour to get a shower and get sorted out, so it's been chucked back together. Hopefully it's going to be okay. Fingers crossed. Right, well, just running it up now to see if there's any leaks. As you can see, it's on a bit of a slant there. The straps are a bit tight this side. Give the tank a bit of a wipe over. Yeah, so the problem I've been having is that it's got a... somebody's cut the original fuel line and put a big car fuel filter in line, which I'm not against. Unfortunately, it doesn't really fit under there very well, and it puts the pipes under a bit of stress. So I may have to have a look at what we do with that going forwards. It's not ideal, but I can't see any leaks, so I'm going to get her off the ramp and get ready to go, because I have to go to the dentist. Yeah, we made it. It's gone from 4 bars of fuel down to 2, so I need to fill her up again. So yeah, I lost about 1.5 gallons, I reckon, yesterday. Anyway, I made it for my dental appointment a little early. I didn't get a chance to see the Hobbit for very long. Just managed to give her a hug, and then off we went. But I'm here on the lagoon. They rent these electric bikes, and I've noticed now that I think it's this place, or maybe somewhere further down the front, are renting out electric scooters. Wow. You might know what I think about that. However, what I find quite amusing is they're pushing all this stuff, and then the other day I saw the police busting people for riding them. Yeah. Got his little notebook out, busted the guy, made him walk. I mean, you couldn't write it, could you, really? Anyway, got a cruise liner in, so they'll be buying a few fridge magnets, won't they? Sorry, I'm a bit cynical. I've had a grumpy day today trying to fix somebody else's bodges. As I've said before when I work on that bike, sometimes people should just leave things well alone, shouldn't they? So now I'm going to have to try and get the original type of fuel line for it. Preferably with a filter in line. I don't know whether they do that. If not, I've thought of a better way of sorting it all out. Anyway, I'm off to the dentist. But, yep, little zesty drink before we get in the dentist. Loads of sugar. He'll be well happy with that, won't he? Oh dear. If I wasn't already mad, it's enough to send me mad. Looks like that thing there. I noticed that bike's flashing its light, look. I wonder if they know about that. Oh dear, maybe there's something wrong with it. That's terrible. Meanwhile, the windmills, yeah, powering somebody's toaster, I guess. We'll see. Yeah, she's been misbehaving again. So, replaced all the fuel lines, as you saw, took the bike to the dentist in Argostoli and back again. It was fine. And then me and the Hobbit went to visit a friend of ours who's on holiday here, Kate, from Leicester, who I've known years. So we went to see her up in at a place up Vlahata, the crossroads, where the bike shop is in Vlahata, and pulled up, petrol everywhere, pouring out the tank. The clip that holds the main fuel line to the fuel pump had come off. Don't know why. I've had the bike back on the rack, can't see any reason why it would do that. Anyway, I redid the whole thing because obviously I need the bike. While I was there, I did a few other adjustments, things that went right. The back of the bike, the tyre touches the bodywork. Because the bike's being lowered and it's carrying 2 people, it's not really intended for that, and it was bottoming out, so I've adjusted the spring. So it had a benefit. I got some other stuff done. I am now going to have to get the original fuel lines, the OEM stuff, because I can't be, it's just too dangerous. The fuel goes all over a hot engine. Well, as you can see, It's quite successfully damaged the paintwork on the top of the starter motor again. That's where it goes. Yeah, I don't need that catching fire, so I'm going to get that sorted out. Anyway, in other news, it's maintenance day today. I found that the spending too long in the editing room isn't doing my mental health any good. Now, I sweep this most days because this bougainvillea and all these plants are very nice, but they do drop an awful lot of stuff on the floor. And as you probably saw in an earlier video, Robert brought me a pressure washer and I cleaned all these steps, so they're back to being white again. However, there was some staining on the top steps that I couldn't get off with the pressure washer, so this is what I did with it. So after I pressure washed the steps, there's a few stains that wouldn't come out. Don't know what they are, something to do with the red sand. So get a lemon. These are past the best really because they're out of season now, got them from Jackie's place. Cut them in half, rub them into the stain, and as you can see, bang, the stain is gone. Yeah, citric acid, good for cleaning a lot of things. I'll show you again on this one here, look. Best to go with the grain of the marble. As you can see, that's starting to disappear now. I dare say if the lemons were a bit newer, a bit fresher, but as you can see, look at that. Of course, the only problem is it's attracting the wasps, but I even have a plan for that. There you go, look at that. All I've got to do now is wash that off, and we're done. And there you go, the stain has gone. Steps are looking pretty good actually. Very good. And hedge is all nicely trimmed. I've been training the bougainvillea along here because well, this stuff doesn't really do anything, it's just green. And in a minute it will turn red and fall all over the floor and it looks like a nuclear war zone, it just dies, whereas a bougainvillea seems to do something all year round, so I prefer that. So I'm encouraging that, and eventually it'll take over, I suppose. Anyway, on with today's job. Right, well, it's a bit cooler than the thermometer there. I've been irritated by this since I moved in really. I did pressure wash it, but it didn't get it all off. So we're going to be painting the house in the next month or two, hopefully, if I can get the money together to buy the primers and things I need. Should be alright with that. I've priced it all up. I don't know if you can see, but these are pretty mucky. I've got to address the problem with the guttering yet, but I'm figuring that it'll be raining on and off now until winter time, so as long as I can do that in between the showers, all's good. So I'm going to clean all this down here, and I've already cleaned the window frames, but I'll need doing again, and then that'll be one less job to do. I think it's in pretty good shape. I don't think it's going to need much, probably just oil it. I think it's been varnished before. We'll have to see what's on there. If it's varnished, I might just give it a lick of varnish. But as you can see, I just got hooked up on the tap. Take two. But as you can see, that's where I pressure washed it to, and that's how dirty it was before. So we're going to have to go all the way along. The window door frames, the sun and the heat out here, as you can see, that's not going to take much. Put a hot air gun on that, it will all come straight off, so I need to get some primer for that. So I'm going to crack on and I'll check in later on with you. Right, well, I think that looks a bit better. I've even given the wall a good pressure washing, as you saw. And it's a shame somebody did a test or cleaned the brush or whatever on there, because could have probably got away with not painting this bit. Although if you're going to do the house, you might as well do the whole lot. But anyway, we're part way there now. I think you'll agree that looks way better than that. Yeah, there's a few, yeah, you can see, it's hard to tell on the camera, but you can see roughly the difference. Yeah, it's not a job that that you'd want to do in the winter, because it's quite refreshing, to be fair. The bonus is that I've cleaned the floor as well. But yeah, there was a few unhappy guests that were living in there. I'm going to have to get somebody to help me wire this back in. We've traced it back, and I think it's the lights for out here, which would be handy because it stops Steve falling down the steps in the dark. So we've got a friendly electrician. I'll get him to come and have a look at that, sort that out for me. But yeah, that looks a lot better. As I say, it's all in the prep, and I'll get these bits done first, and then we'll primer the window frames and stuff and get those ready. Then I can paint the walls, and then we're done. And we're coming into the right part of the year for it. It's not too hot today, late afternoon, and it's dropped down to 20, something like that. Right, I'm going to get a shower now and then go and video Argostoli for you lot. And before we start, who hasn't done it all? Yeah, I'm going to do that probably tomorrow. The pressure washer that Robert got me is fantastic, but it is battery powered, and although it's held up so far, I didn't want to get part way down there and it runs out, so I'm going to put that back on charge, and we'll do that bit and round the corner tomorrow, because that's a bit smaller and won't take so long. This window frame isn't so bad actually. I might just nib that down and put a top coat over it. I want to box those pipes in as well, make them look a bit neater, and maybe put a shelf just above the aircon unit. Put my plants and stuff on there then, I suppose. Anyway, there you go. You can hear Foghorn Leghorn, my nemesis, does that day and night. There's about 3 of them left now, I think. I think Mackie's got rid of a few. But beautiful day. Yeah, shut up. Great day to be alive. Old homestead's starting to look like something now. These are next. The bottom of this one, there's only the one this side here that hasn't rotted. Oh, mind you, I've just noticed a hole in that. So I'm going to fabricate a piece of box and weld it in, and then screw it to the floor, and that should last another 50-60 years. The one round the corner, funnily enough, is more rusty, but it's not as rotten. So anyway, cigar, little bits at a time. Garden's coming to an end. I'm going to start putting my winter stuff in. Potatoes, broccoli, cabbage, that sort of stuff, I think. Right, I'm going to get a shower and get to Augusti. Right. Well, one of the viewers said to me, could we do Argostoli at night? Now, it's not something I normally do because the cameras don't always work that well. However, Robert, the weatherman, gave me his Samsung Galaxy, which seems to handle it quite well. It doesn't handle the microphones very well, so I'm hoping that this is going to work. Anyway, we've got some lightning going on in the background, so I might get wet in a minute. And look at the mast on this. Yeah, so I'm currently where the cruise liners come in and all the posh yachts moor up. Somebody might be able to tell me in the comments who owns that that particular yacht. Got a lot of lightning going on over the back there. Yeah, so I'm now going to get on the bike and I'm going to take it to the square, and then I'm going to try with my gammy knee and walk all the way up the Lithostrato, to the Bosset Bridge and all the way back. So stay tuned. It's going to be a bit of an adventure. And there's your lightning. Right. We parked Nicky somewhere safe. I hope the volume control on the camera's working. And I'll walk you through the town. We're currently on the road between the cruise liners where you've just seen, and just down there is the quayside. So we're going to walk into the square now and see what's happening. It's something I don't do very often because the cameras don't usually pick it up, and of course walking around the cameras shake around and everything makes it difficult to edit. Blah blah blah. It has been a reasonably quiet year, holidaymaker-wise. Where have you all been? Book your tickets. Although it's starting to pick up now. I've got a few of you coming out and hooking up with me at Bar 7 and places like that. So yeah, I think it's probably just that a lot of you don't come out certain times of the year. Anyway, these are all the establishments you can find just off the square. Should have had something to eat before I came out because it could get expensive, and I haven't brought my pension across this month. I'm trying to get a little bit ahead, get some savings in the bag, but you know how difficult that is. It's not really working. There's the wonderful electric bikes. Great if you like that sort of thing. I'm sure you know my views on that. Yeah, Robert brought me a gimbal. He's brought me a lot of stuff this year, actually, good old Robert. Unfortunately, it doesn't take my bouncing up and down out when I'm walking. Right, we're just coming into the square now. Be quite interesting for me because I haven't done this for quite some time. When you live here, you don't really tend to do that. There's the Chinese restaurant up there. And here's the square. What I've always loved about this square is you can see the kids playing while the parents have something to eat and drink. I don't think this really happens in the UK anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong. Lots of functions here during the year. That's where the KEP office is, down there, where Santa Claus comes before he starts his tour of the world. It's not as busy as I thought it would be, but it is Sunday and we have got rain forecast. The guy at the petrol station looked at me and said, "You're on the bike and it's going to rain." I went, "Well, we don't know whether it will or it won't, do we? Can't rely on the weather forecast in Kefalonia." I look at the mountain and the mountain looked like it's fairly clear. It's like there's an amusement arcade opened up down there. Let's have a look, that's fairly new. In '97, when I came over on the bike, on Diana, the bike I wrote off, this was a whole different place, and I parked the bike on the corner there and watched the lads showing off to the girls, because you used to be able to drive around here. They've stopped all that now. And quite a few people mentioned the fact that the bike was on British plates, and when I said I'd ridden it here, they couldn't believe it. Of course, everybody does that now, don't they? Well, a lot of people do. Anyway, yeah, little amusement arcade there. I'm just going to check that the sound levels are correct on the camera and everything's working all right, and then we'll get back on along towards Lithostrata. It's the Earthquake Museum. Haven't been in there yet. I might take the Hobbit there. We're both a bit short of cash at the minute. She desperately needs to sell one of the houses. Hopefully that will happen this weekend. It's got a viewing. Kids playing everywhere. Right, I'm going to check this is working. Okay, and just like that, in TV land, we're back on it. I have to check every so often that the sound is working because I've got a microphone on, and they don't always hook up to the camera when you want them to. The times I've got back, having driven an hour and a half there and an hour and a half back to do some filming up for Scardo Way or somewhere, and then found out when I've got home that the footage had got no sound, so now I check every so often. Now this building here, there's been some, it's a bone of contention apparently. A few people said it was historic and it shouldn't have been knocked down, but it hadn't been used as long as I can remember. It got damaged in an earthquake. But they haven't really put anything in its place yet. Knocked it down. So I'll film the side of the street where everything's cool. I might treat myself to a gyros. Hobbit stayed in tonight. She doesn't like lots of people. She only comes into town if she has to do some shopping, really. It's not her thing. I have to say, it's not really mine. Which is one of the reasons I moved here. There's your theatre and the top road. Let's have a quick wander up there so you can see what that looks like at night. Sorry about the wind. Robert's phone doesn't seem to be bothered by the microphone on the phone. Anyway, yeah, that's your top road. There's a lot of coffee shops along there. And if you like being in the town, they're quite nice. There's your building that was knocked down. It's got the Lithostrata, Lithostratu, however it's pronounced. I used to say Lithostratus and it's not got an S on the end apparently. There's your Kefalonia sign. So you know where you are. So you know where you are. Hobbit loves the ice cream shop just down there. Right. Hoping to make it all the way up to the Deposit Bridge.
So.
As you can see, all the shops are open there. This is one of the places I stop for coffee along here, because you can watch people come and go if you sat on these seats to my right. And they have quite a nice brand of coffee in there as well. If you've not been to Kefalonia before and you've stumbled across me because you're researching the place, Most of the coffee shops are open all day, and quite late into the night. But of course, these gift shops all close at 2 o'clock and don't open again until 6. It's a bit confusing because some shops open, some businesses, I should say, accountants, people like that. My accountant, for instance, he opens in the mornings and then he shuts at 2 and you don't see him again all day. And then you'll get another accountant that's open all day. And then you'll get one that starts at 8, shuts at 2, opens again at 6. So it can be a bit confusing, but generally the shops shut at 2, don't open again till 6 o'clock at night. Karen Fozzard is one of those. But if you go on down the rabbit hole on Facebook, she usually posts the time she's open because she changes it when it gets quiet. It's obviously no point in her being open in the winter, so she changes her times. So post office, there you can get a frappe or a beer. I did do a video a few weeks ago now about the high street. I don't think there's many places in the UK that can boast a high street like we've got. I mean, you're right, it caters a lot towards the tourists, but as you can see, there's a lot of stuff that isn't for tourists. There's Marion's place. My friend Marion. And yes, we are going to do the video about the Hobbit's journey. It's been such a complicated one. We're having to think about how we put it across. Don't want to put anybody off, but at the same point, there are pitfalls that I think you guys need to know about. As you can see, the jewellery shops are shut. It's Sunday. I would imagine in the week they're open. There's a nice little coffee shop down there, right next to the tax office, which is handy. You can go and get a few coffees down there to make sure you're ready for them. And we're just approaching the tower, which is I use as a landmark for the rabbit hole. So if you come down the Lithostratus and you're not quite sure, I said it again, didn't I, Lithostrato, and you're not quite sure where Karen's place is, I'll show you now actually. But yeah, look out for that tower, the bell tower. It's got a clock on it. Me and Karen call it Clock Tower, to be fair. Now, that's a shame. This place is shut of an evening by the looks of it. I recommend this place. Staff are very friendly and all the food is really nice. Yeah, it looks like Karen's shut today because it's Sunday, but anyway, where the ice cream is on the wall there, you can see the little tree. That's where Karen's shop down the rabbit hole is. Coming on a Sunday has paid off. There's just enough people for you to get a vibe for it, but not so many that I can't film. Because it is difficult filming. When the place is busy, which is why I don't tend to do nights. Anyway, hope this is giving you some sort of a feel for it. We're right at the top of the Lithostrata now. So I'm going to head down that way up to the deposit bridge, and we'll film from there back. Right, I wasn't going to record the walk up to the deposit bridge because obviously we're going to record it on the way back. But this is, Strotto is that way, just a few feet up there. But this is my go-to high street if I need anything. Down there we've got 2 shoe shops, and then further down there's a place that sells mostly tools, some plumbing stuff, paint, bits and pieces like that. Next door to him there's a place that sells washing machines, fridges, etc. And just on the right, just past where that car is now, there's a place where I've got the 2-burner hob that I use in the kitchen. And that was the cheapest place on the island for one of those, and it looked like the best quality, and there's a choice of colours which I didn't get anywhere else. There's a clothing shop there. I did all this the other week, so I won't bore you with that. And now we're walking up towards the front. So I'm going to go to the deposit bridge, and I'll see you there. And here we are at the deposit bridge, the longest stone bridge over a sea, apparently. I'm not going to walk it tonight. I have done in the past. It goes all the way along and all the way across to the other side where there's the old marina that's not being used since it was since I started building it. There's another story there which I'll go into one day for you. There's your taverna on the bridge. I think it's called the deposit or the bridge or something like that. I don't know, I can't remember now. They sell fish only, so if you don't like fish, that's no good. There's your church. They do the Epiphany from here, which if you go through my videos, I think it was the beginning of the year we filmed that. If it's getting windy, I apologise. Not a lot I can do about that, really. I'll try and keep the wind down as much as I can, but anyway. I know you can't see a lot, but twinkly lights, that's about all you're going to see there. There's all your shops and bits and pieces on the other side of the road. I'm going to cross over now, mainly to get out the wind so that you guys can hear what I'm saying. Another bone of contention, I keep banging on about it, I know, but it's irritating when you live here. The mayor recently had all this repaved. Well, fair play to him. But then he made the road a car's width more narrow than it was to begin with. So where that car's parked, it should have been parked there. So as you can imagine, somebody opens a car door now or parks awkwardly there, or there's a bigger vehicle in there than should be, everything comes to a standstill. It's a complete nightmare. And as for his balls, well, the mayor shouldn't leave his balls on the curbside. People might drive into them. Oh look, there's a Danny Minogue. Now, those of you who used to go to the fruit and veg stall that cascaded out, the best term I can use, onto the harbour side up there, was a fantastic display next to Patsaurus. You'll all remember it if you've been here regularly. It was just down there, roughly where that red sign is, where my finger is. Well, they've put him here. He's done his best. Not quite the same though, is it, you know? Personally, I think the mayor shot himself in the foot there by doing that, because the guy was well liked. They allegedly had fisticuffs and the police were called and arrested both of them. Now I did this the other week. You'll be able to see inside that shop now. If you can't get it in there, you don't need to be drinking it. Anyway, onward and upward. My knee's holding out quite well because I'm walking quite a brisk pace. I'm famous for that. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Like I say, I was asked to do it, and I'm short of content for the next month or so, as I haven't been particularly bright mentally. So I haven't been doing what I should, I suppose, really. I find the editing takes a lot longer when I'm not feeling up to it. It has got quite complicated, I have to say. My old mate, Two-Pack Tin Ribs, one of the pirates, was on about me monetising the site and telling me how I could do that. She's a good girl like that, always thinks about me, trying to help me out. And I just said to her, you know, it's got to a point where I sometimes wonder why I'm doing it, because it should be fun, and for the most part it is. There's Olga's shop. Yes, Olga? Kalasi? Now, all that produce in there is grown here, behind Lidl's apparently, which is ironic, I think. So you know where your food's coming from. She does import stuff that is out of season or they're having trouble growing. There's one fruit and veg store they didn't manage to get rid of. I think it's because he owned the building, so they couldn't do much about him. Yeah, you see, this is the trouble with politicians, isn't it? I know you've got problems with that in the UK. See that hole? Yeah, they spent millions on messing all this up that nobody really wanted. Most of the people I know who own businesses along here didn't want this done. But they can't fix a pothole that might break some little old lady's leg and put her in hospital for months. Anyway, I'm moaning now and you didn't call it. That's not what you rang for. My friend the baker's closed, so I won't get any joy there. Yeah, this is where the fruit and veg shop was that I'm talking about. Apparently all these are owned by the municipality, and the mayor decided he wanted everybody out, so he evicted everybody. Originally we heard that they told everybody that they've got to contribute to doing the places up, which some of them were doing, and then all of a sudden they were all evicted. Ironically, you see the fountain over there? Big fuss about putting that in. One of the reasons Pat Saurus wasn't allowed to have his stall out that way, and they can't use it now because it's nowhere near a water supply, from what I've read. Don't take that as being gospel because it's just what I've read, but it wouldn't surprise me. Taxi rank's still here. Nothing much this part of the town has changed really. The road is a bit narrower here, but then it's back to normal because it's one way there. He couldn't do much about that, I suppose. So yeah, leave in the comments what you think about all that. I think, personally, I would rather have the fruit and veg guy still there, and Pat Saurus still there. I mean, it's what, you know, when people come out here on holiday, they might not come for a year or so, and then they save up and they save up and they come out and it's all changed. And I feel sorry for them, you know. Anyway, we're going to go down the quay side now. That'll be the next thing. There's not much on this side apart from shops that we'd use, really, people who live here. That's somebody else they got rid of, the guy with the old battered car that you all used to photograph, who was up there. As you can see, gone. And they made his life a living hell. I watched it. He was still trying to work from there and they did all this. So he's having to bring his trolley jacks out and do the cars in the road. I mean, ridiculous. Anyhow, looks like we might have had some rain here actually. The footpath's wet. Argostoli yachting, I don't know how long that place has been there, selling Musto gear. Better not tell the Hobbit, she'll be straight in there. Electric scooters. Now, there's a thing, they've all gone, oh no, Rudgy's on his soapbox. I saw the police issuing tickets the other day for people who were riding them. You couldn't make it up, could you? Yeah, some guy was whizzing along and the guy stuck his hand up, stopped him, asked for his passport and everything, which he gave him. And then he issued him a ticket, which you have to pay at the post office here. And the guy had to push the thing to wherever he was going. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I'm saying no more about that. We haven't had, from what I can see anyway, an awful lot of big yachts in this year. A couple of years ago, I think it was. No, it must be. I've been in this house 3 years nearly, so it was when I was at Spillia. I came down and did a video about this, and it's just big yacht after big yacht all the way down there, millions of pounds worth. I think it's because we've got so many charter yachts now, and fishing boats that you can go out on. Probably isn't anywhere from to moor up. Which is another thing I find a bit extraordinary. I'll show you in a minute what I'm on about there. Hotel tourist there. They do food and drink, so if you're tired and want something to eat, you can always head into there. I think the Hobbit's missed out. It's been quite a nice walk. Hasn't been too busy. There's your Kefalonia sign. One of these boats I was actually offered a job as skipper on, but I think they've painted it. Might well be in that one, I can't remember now. I don't know. It was similar to that. I don't think it had two masts though, so it was a while back now, I can't remember. The Chandler's over there, if you're coming in by yacht. I'm saying no more, other than that one. Smells of diesel. I think actually Graham's sort of nailed that. Because you only get a maximum of 6 people on that boat, legally. I think, anyway, unless he's changed it. And he usually takes 4 out. Nice little day out, you know, if you all club together. Over there you've got the captain's table and a few gift shops. Now, this is what I was talking about. You've got all these charter yachts here, but this is the end of the quayside. They decided to put the electric and the water on. It shouldn't surprise me, really. That's yeah. And of course, the people who have been chartering yachts here for years will say, I want my spot, I want to stay there. You know, Lady-O, a bit of thinking, forward planning, and you would think, right, well, we'll put the electric up the other end. You know, because you're never going to get them to move, are you? Fish and chip shop hasn't been open this year. I don't know why. Leave in the comments if you do. There's the famous glass boat. Look at that. That's ridiculous, isn't it, eh? Now, these two, the Queen Bee, I haven't ever been on their boats, but I've heard really good things about them. So it's worth checking them out. And if you've already been on there, leave in the comments what you thought of the experience. I've heard they're really good lads. There you go. That's your tour of Argostoli at night. All that's left for me to do now is to walk back to the bike, and I've got a few pennies in my pocket. I might go and get myself a gyros because I don't fancy cooking when I get home now. It's a bit late for that. So I think I'll head off and get myself a gyros, a lemonade, maybe at the bus stop, and then I'll ride home. It's pretty warm and nice riding weather, I have to say. Waiting for something to come out of there, isn't he? I thought you might like to have a look at the square one last time before I finish.
Hi! Hello! Hi!
Now, interestingly, that place there, when I lived in Spillier, I used to go there for my pizzas. It was pretty good, I have to say. Right, hungry now. It's back to the studio. Right, well, that was this week's video. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. And if you haven't already, as I always say, hit the like, hit the share, and hit the subscribe. Sit back and enjoy the ride. Those of you who visited the Coffee and PayPal page this week, thank you ever so much for that. It's a massive help. And a special thanks to Jeff and Amanda, actually, who came out this week and brought me a Red Cross parcel. I can't say they brought me 1 or 2 bits because they brought me a big bag of stuff. So thank you very much. I'd like to thank all of you for your support over the last few years with this channel. It's been a big help. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do next week. I've run out of content. As I said in the video, I haven't been feeling very well. Dogs have been keeping me awake. Chickens have been making a row, and I haven't been sleeping very well, which hasn't really done my mental health much good. So I'm going to have to go out and get some content over the weekend. So hopefully the Hobbit will be free and be able to come with me, and we'll be up to more shenanigans as soon as we can. I hope you enjoyed the nighttime view of Argostoli. A few of you asked to do that, and it was, I thought, well, it's only down the road. We can get on with that. So I'll see you guys next week. And remember, dreams do come true. True story. Wherever you go, there you are. It's a great day to be alive.